What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Super Princess Peach. In the last episode, we, well, hopefully you can take a heed of word of what I just said earlier, or really in the last episode if you're watching this now. So, I just wanted to open this episode by showing you guys, before I defeat the boss over here, what's happening in World 7. So, you can see in World 7, there's no other courses I can go to right now. And Luigi's already rescued, so no need to rescue him again. So, I'm going to, again, have voiceover me take over, because there is something very important I'm going to say today. So, anyways, but yeah, I'll then showcase later on in this episode, what happens after I defeat the boss, so you'll see it in firsthand in this full episode of what happens when you defeat the boss in the previous area and then get these extra 3 stages. So without further ado, let's get going. I'm gonna just quickly take myself off, and well, that was a good way to cut myself off with the and I'm here, guys. So anyways, here I go making mistakes again. Great, cool. So anyways, yeah, there's been an underlying issue that nobody's been talking about, which is funny in ironic sense, because I make ironic titles from time to time whenever I get the chance to. And so here's the funny thing in terms of that. So you have an underlying issue that, well, I guess in an hour form, I've talked about this in my Paper Mario 64 playthrough in part 31, and it was titled "What's Real Anymore." I believe that's what it was called. But anyways, yeah, I probably should have put that in my notes. But in a sense, I have 4 big main reasons that I was able to grasp away from it, and I'm gonna probably try to make this a shorter version of that video. And it's kind of like more of an underlying issue that I've been seeing a lot more recent, I guess just a lot of recent data and just a lot of recent events and just a lot of recent things that I've been seeing basically recently. Recently is the key word, by the way, if you guys didn't catch that. So, authenticity, basically, in a nutshell. For those of you that want a little refresher on what is authenticity, it's basically just the quality of being genuine, real, and true to yourself. Basically, just having true intentions and just not having any fake, anything, nothing's fake. Basically, that's basically the whole trend of it. So, why am I saying that it's dying, and why did I say it was dying? And to be honest, I think it is. And today we're gonna be talking about that, and with the 4 main reasons, hopefully to get through all of them. The 4 big reasons are: big groups cause this, people can't be upfront and honest anymore, parasocial relationships cause this as well, and trends as well. So it's gonna be funny if I ever, let's just get right through it anyways. So let's go with the first reason here. So how do big groups cause this? Well, you know how you have a group of friends where you hang out with when you were kids and whatnot, and as you get older, you'll gain new friends, obviously, that will create new groups and whatnot, and it happens, right? And I think in a general sense, a lot of people would have multiple groups and whatnot, and it just makes sense, right? You just have multiple groups that you hang out with, and you just you do these things, and it's just okay, it creates these environments and whatnot, a community. So you have these communities, right, where you're pretty much kind of all right, we're gonna do these things, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and it's great, right? So here's what underlies here, basically. Basically, how do big groups cause this to the authenticity to die? Well, it's quite simple, really. And it's not big school settings. It's not big high school events or anything like that. Although to some degree, high school events do cause this in a way. And here's how. Nowadays, so when you you ever like been to a big party where you're at a bar, or you're like at a barbecue event, or a 4th of July event, or even in the big cities where you're just walking around trying to talk to people, trying to make friends, right? It's kind of impossible nowadays in a way when you're trying to like create a friend group that, you know, not the ideal friend group, but just like a friend group in general, right? So I'm not trying to be like this guy from Mixtape who validates like whatever, because I never had a friend group growing up. Like, I mean, to be quite frank, I didn't either to a degree, but at the same time, like, I mean, I did have friends upcoming and going and whatnot, like in my entire life basically, and like it happens, right? So I'm not trying to like make myself the victim here or anything like that. It's just, this is just what I've been seeing and observing. And hopefully you're paying attention to this screen, because I'm not gonna explain any of this, by the way. You go into the 5th pipe, get the minigame, go all the way to the end, go to the second from the right pipe down, that's like all the way down, and then you hit the goal, basically. So anyways, and I'll show you what happens if you hit any of the other pipes. So anyways, so how is big groups like the cause of this? So big groups cause this because like you try to fit yourself into a group, you find that it's pointless, and then you create this sense to like not sensitivity, but like you just create this like environment for yourself where it's like, okay, what's the point anymore? Like there's really is no point on anything anymore, on like trying to create or try to be out there. And so like the point is really, in a general sense, is to put yourself out there. That is what you're supposed to do. I mean, the thing is like how it's been dying in a sense. It's like you create these senses of like, oh, we're gonna just like, you know, like things are gonna be just handed to you if you just like go to school or just go to these big parties and whatnot. But like when you try to like join these big parties and then like you're barely around for like the little events where like, oh, let's go over to Cody's house. He's actually creating a Smash Bros. Brawl tournament for the Wii. I don't know why I brought that up, but like, you know, it's just like, you know, why not? Or like, or on the GameCube, like, yeah, I'm just inviting a couple of friends over. We're playing Smash Bros. Melee on the GameCube, you know. And so like, there are events where it's just like, you know, you have a group of 3 or 4 or 5 people in the house, and then you're just like, you know, it's just a normal thing that's been happening every week, like every weekend or something. Like you go play ball, go play Smash Bros, or you go do something like not, or I guess, yeah, you can do crazy stuff too. And you go back home and it's like, yeah, like, all right, we're ordering some pizza. And these plans are like usually like kind of last minute things, because it's just kind of like this unspoken rule between like a few friends, and it's like, you know, and you know, these will be the type of friends that are able to like call you out on your downfalls, or really like on a foreshadowing of your downfall, like, hey buddy, if you keep going this path, like this is gonna happen, and like you either choose to listen or you don't listen. And like those are your true friends really, that are able to like call you out and stuff like that, in my opinion at least. And the thing is like, you know, it's, you know, I think it's an experience that not a lot of people have, and at the same time it's like, you know, like, yeah, people grow up, and so you're not going to be able to, or really are going to have the common interest to do these certain things anymore, because your goal is to make money and get jobs, and like, you know, you're busy working basically, right? So you're not going to be able to do these things. Like, you'll probably be able to do these things once in a while, and like, you know, you'll like probably do like once or twice a year, maybe once or twice a month or something like that. I mean, it'll turn into once or twice a year as you age, and that's completely appropriate and fine, and actually healthy enough to want. But absolutely, like, if you're like in your 20s, definitely don't even focus on that too much. Even I would say, like, if you're able to get it like once a year, I would be grateful enough for that, because it's not something that is required anymore. People are busy, people are trying to survive, and that's just the general instinct that we as humans need. It's like, yeah, we need interaction and whatnot, and it's obviously like something that we do need, but at the same time, like, you're not gonna have it all the time. So just appreciate the moments when you do have it. And the thing is, like, people try to like mask the problem and whatnot, and trying to like force themselves into groups, and it comes off unnatural, and it like you have these outbursts where like, actually it kind of relates to the second reason in a way, funny enough, and that second reason is basically like, which kind of connects to the first reason and the third reason in a way, but people just can't be upfront and honest of what, you know, people want, because there's always this fake persona of like, oh, like if I do this, then like, you know, I'll have more people like me, or if I do this, then like, you know, like, yeah, I'll get a lot more attention here and there, and like just being able to like just be flashy and do this and blah blah blah, like this is how life is supposed to be, like this is how life is supposed to be, like just being able to, like, honestly, there's no right, I mean, I guess there is wrong ways to like enjoy life in a way. If I'm not gonna go on an extensive list on how enjoying life in the wrong way would look like, but there's also like no exact right way how to live and enjoy life, really. There isn't. I think it really depends on everyone's perspectives, or people's perspectives on how, like, oh, this is what I enjoy for my, you know, my free time when I, like, you know, I'm not at work. And, you know, and there's people that are out there that really just don't have a life in general because they're just alone, and they just rather sit alone and, you know, do their own thing. And that's completely fine too. And, you know, in a sense, like, I mean, they're somewhat getting their own, like, they're getting their own interactions with other people, like, to some degree, like, on their own time. You may not know it, but, like, you know, that's also nobody else's business, really. And only but your own and God's, really. And so, like, people try to mask the problem of, like, trying to be fake and upfront, like, oh, I'm this person, and then, like, that's how you try to attract people, and it's like, you're not really this person. Like, I guess for example, like, I think I said it at some point at the end of the video in the Paper Mario one, and that is like, the thing is like, oh, like, I guess, like, when it comes to, like, me being angry or something like that, like, let me just, like, I guess, like, make a clarification here. Like, yeah, I don't get angry often, but when I do, it's just kind of like one of those things where, like, I kind of give a warning ahead of time, like, hey, I just need to cool off, get away from me before things get ugly. And what I mean by getting ugly, like, it's just kind of like, I actually don't know. I've never really gotten that far. Let's just, maybe, alright, or there's times where I have, but, like, it's not like I've hurt people, because honestly, in the consciousness of it, like, subconsciously, I don't see hurting people as a long-term or really even a short-term goal that will satisfactory, like, my rage or anger, really, because it's hurting the person long-term, and it's really, like, you know, it leaves a scar permanently for the rest of their life in a way. So, like, yeah, I mean, obviously, you just don't do that. I mean, it's not right. It really clearly isn't right to do. Like, I don't condone, like, hitting people or really just any of that. Like, it's just not right. It really isn't right. If anything, like, yeah, don't physically I wouldn't put my hands on anybody. It's just not right. It's just not sensible. It's just not right. Yeah, I don't know why I'm going on this. I'm trying to talk about authenticity, and you know, in the sense of it, like, you know, what I'm trying to underlie is, like, you know, people will create this, like, kind of like, you know, like, so, like, there will be topics online that people, like, talk about, or, like, arguments that people, like, would, like, state about, and it's like, okay, like, what are we, like, you know, like, talking about here? And the underlying issue is, like, people would just easily just get angry. Me, like, as a sensible person, that I would try to, you know, like, yeah, I would say extreme things here and there, but, like, at the same time, it's like, look, there's no reason to get angry about this situation, or there's really no reason to, like, you know, like, get your privates in a knot, basically. I don't know. I'm trying to find a way to, like, say it, but, like, you know, if you get what I'm trying to say here with, like, topics, like, usually I would say, like, okay, just pull yourself away from the situation, and, like, just, you know, don't like try to, like, be this fake person, like, oh, like, I'm really a sensible person, I'm really not that bad of a, and, like, the moment someone says something you don't like, you get instantaneously angry. By the way, this is the stage of what happens. Like, this is what happens to World 7 when you complete the World 6 boss. So anyways, we'll finish this stage and then finish the episode. Regardless if I get to the 4th topic or not. But yeah, I guess I wanted to like get to the 3rd topic in a way, and that is parasocial relationships ruin the authenticity. By the way, like to end off the second reasoning, it's more of like when people can't be upfront and they just try to lie about their views and whatnot, or try to lie about the way they are, and they're really not that person. It's like it creates this like inconsistency as a person, and it just like, okay, like, so you're not you don't like this, or you're not really, you know, like, think like this. And people do change over time, like that, which is like, you know, a true thing and whatnot. But at the same time, like, if you're inconsistent as a person, like, oh, I'm really not that bad of a person, and then, you know, the next minute when you're angry or something like you dislike that annoys you extremely, and you act like a complete raging animal, that's where it's like, okay, all right, buddy, like, maybe we don't hang around you by any means. So the thing is like we hit a pinpoint on parasocial relationships because, you know, like, yeah, you're fear of missing out on the bigger events, really. And like when you're in the bigger events, like you hear about these little events, like, oh yeah, we just went over to somebody's house, we watched a movie, it was a great time and whatnot, and you're missing out. It's just fear of missing out, and you wish you were invited but you weren't, and it's like, well, tough nuggies, like maybe you're just not that person to like be that close to, and it's, you know, and it happens, right? And there's other events where that happens, or it's just like you weren't invited because like I can only invite like 3 people over, and my mom said so, or something like that, right? And so like the fear of missing out creates this like, oh, like it's just like this, not this cringe, but like it's just like one of these things where it's like, okay, like it creates these people like to like try to validate their actions and whatnot, to like create parasocial relationships with other people. Because back in the days in the 2000s and whatnot, you know, there's probably that favorite YouTuber, favorite streamer that you like, and so like there's this like, you know, like there's this kind of phrasing of like, oh, like, you know, never meet your heroes, because like you know, and it's like the thing is like, I mean, you take a streamer for example, like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure like they're very entertaining and whatnot, but they're not gonna be the exact same way in real life. They're probably just trying to live their best normal life, and then you demand something from them, and it's like, well, no, you're famous, you're this person. Like, that's just not healthy. It really isn't, because like the thing is like, yeah, they created this like kind of like platform for themselves, right? But at the same time, yeah, they're famous and everything else, but that does not give you any sort of right to expect them to act the way you think they will act, because based on the videos that you've seen and experienced, like, oh, you create this relationship with them that's parasocial, and it's just unhealthy in general, really. And when you create these parasocial relationships, it's kind of like you hit these underlying issues with like, you know, people trying to be bad faith actors, because like, you know, they're intentionally like arguing about the problem that like, oh, so you're saying this and blah blah blah, and then they're like, and there's people that will genuinely think that and are not trying to act that in bad faith, but then there's also other people that actually actively know it, and they try to like catch them in the dark, and it's like, nah, see, look, now you're just getting it twisted. Now you're playing games now. I don't like that. So like, I mean, I guess one example would be like, there's this one, one example is like, there's this one person, a streamer, what was her name, like Emaru or something? Yeah, her name was Emaru, and she was like, you know, like somebody was asking her about a political question, and really just did not want to involve herself in the political spectrum in the first place. And very reasonably enough, like, if she chooses not to want to partake in this, you know, situation, and like, she has every right to just like say no on that one. And if you want context on it, like, basically she pretty much like, she also said like a very hot take, which honestly it was just like, you know, completely based in a way. It's like, if you're looking for advice like politically or like looking for political advice from a streamer that like you needed or see yourself, because literally equivalently you're looking for advice from a stranger that you literally just met like 2 seconds ago or something like that. It's like, and like, yeah, like you may have watched this person over time and like whatnot, like watch this person's content, but like they don't know you at all. Like it's kind of like when even with these meetups and whatnot, like they've only just met you in the last 2 seconds, but like, yeah, you've watched them growing up and whatnot, like, you know, for the last like couple years or whatnot. And it's like, okay, so you know about this person, but they know nothing about you. So like, maybe give them a break a little bit and just kind of expect, like, create the interaction of like, oh, so this person's a complete stranger to me. Or if you know this person, then just kind of like, I don't know, hi, I'm this person, and then just like, you know, like there is a common interest that you have that like you want to like extend the conversation on, then extend the conversation, but don't be weird about it and just try to like be like, oh yeah, I know you for this long, and then like dude, yeah, this person doesn't know you. So like, stop creating these like situations where it's just like, oh, it's healthy to make these parasocial relationships, because then it creates an underlying issue of like, oh well, how do I get this big to know this person, or how do I become this person so that way I'm interesting? Well, that's like it. These reasonings like really connect to each other, which is funny because it's like we're creating masks to a situation that's like, why can't we just be like a genuine real person to each other anymore? And the reason why is because we keep creating these fake personas and whatnot, and it's just like, okay, well, yeah, in some senses it's okay, because like, yeah, you know, if you're running a show, like, you gotta be entertaining, you gotta act a certain way, right? So it makes sense, but at the same time, it's like, when you're trying to meet a person in real life or try to get to know somebody and they're playing games with you, it's like, it creates this relationship where it's like, okay, I don't know anything about this person, I'm playing games, and I don't feel okay about this, I'm feeling very bad, like, I'm getting very bad vibes, very bad feelings from this person, and I shouldn't be around this person anymore. And so, like, you create this sense, and it's like, it's just not a good look for anybody, really. And, yeah, I'm probably going to end the episode here, but, because I didn't even get to the fourth reason, unfortunately. But, yeah, I guess I'll give you a foreshadowing on the fourth reasoning. But don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I gotta learn how to do this more often as a small YouTuber. Really, I don't know. I mean, a guy who has like barely like 3 or 4 views, like, honestly, I'm content with that, because like the fact that I'm remotely like interesting enough for 3 or 4 people to watch me, like, cool. Like, I'm actually content with that, really, compared to the thousands of people, because like the thing is like, I'm trying to do things that I like to do instead of trying to follow a trend. That's what I guess that would probably be the biggest thing I would like state out, like, and call out of everyone else. Maybe not in general sense that everybody else is completely fake and like very like, you know, evil in sense like that, but no, it's or vicious or anything, or malicious or anything like that. Nothing like that. What I'm saying is like, people like, you know, like, yeah, they want to grow their channels and whatnot, but like, here's the thing though, like, there's an unhealthy amount of ways on how like that happens, and like, this is actually where the authenticity gets killed. And you know, in a summary, like, following trends, you try to attract people, and then you're attracting the wrong crowd, or attracting the people that think that you are this complete person, or you know, in a sense, and then it's like, you try to act normal, or you try to be like another person that's like, oh yeah, I'm just another normal guy, guys, and then like, you know, and then people just put you up front to like get killed or get executed because you don't do the certain thing that they want you to do. And it's like, I'll leave it there, and I'll probably explain it more on the next episode for like a few minutes before I get onto the next topic or anything like that. But I just thought I'd share this because this is something that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough, and I think people should talk about this a little bit more, because in a way, authenticity is kind of dying out in the real world, and I really wish and hope for it to stop dying. And yeah, it's just sad to see, because like, you have these events where you have like kind of just like, yeah, I don't know, I'll extend on it probably in the next episode too, like to close this topic off. But anyways, I'm gonna try to end now to keep this video short enough. And thanks for watching, and don't forget to shine bright and stay bright.